You see this smile right here? This is the smile you're supposed to have on a Monday morning. I'm Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report. It's Victory Monday, Raiders Overreaction Monday with the top trending topics after a major 30-6 win over the New York Giants. And when you think about this game, I know there's a lot of people out there like, Mitch, you know what? The Giants are a bad football team. Yeah, they are a bad football team. They were rolling out Tommy DeVito for almost half of this game after Daniel Jones, unfortunately, suffered what looks to be like a season-ending injury. But you know what? Thought they did an okay job up against Saquon Barkley. Sure, they beat him here and there. But the real attention from this game should have been on the offensive side of the football. And you can say what you want about the Giants, but their defense hasn't been that bad this season. And for Aidan O'Connell, all you needed him to do was to not turn the ball over. And it's exactly what he did. He picked up clutch first downs. He was able to move the ball effectively. The Raiders scored 24 points at halftime. The Raiders offense scored over 20 points for the first time this season. Josh Jacobs got the running game going yet again. Trey Tucker had a long catch. Sure, Davante didn't get it going, but if you listen to Davante after the game, he said something that I think people need to listen to. I was upset after the Patriots game because I knew that the offense wasn't moving the ball the way that it should. That's what Davante said. After this week, he was like, we won, and we looked pretty good while doing it. I'm happy for Antonio Pierce, but you know what? The top thing that we're going to talk about today, and it probably doesn't surprise a lot of people, it's around Josh McDaniels, because Josh McDaniels was the problem. Say it with me. Josh McDaniels was the problem. It's 4 just win, babies. Believe it, baby. Whether you're doing anything in life, whether you're a head football coach, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a sergeant in the military, whoever your leader is, that's the identity that you're going to take on. And the Raiders' problem for a long time was their identity was their head coach, who was a bitch. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. Josh McDaniels, all the new reports, everything that is starting to come out, how McDaniels apparently looked at Antonio Pierce when Pierce was trying to fire up the locker room about how that Giants team took down the Patriots team. Afterwards, McDaniels goes, don't ever talk about the Patriots. That's a true story. You got a head coach doing shit like that, and it proved that just this game, the players were happy. The players in the locker room were smoking on those Giants packs. I loved it. They were a team that felt a giant weight off their shoulder. Hunter Renfrow said that it didn't feel like we were walking on eggshells. Had a Raiders player message me last night and says, that's what happens when you don't have Josh looking over your shoulder. But, I mean, this was the Raiders' offense underneath McDaniels. An offensive guru, let me at that. You benched the quarterback that he wanted in Jimmy G, and you kept it rolling. I am so proud of this football team for dealing with all the bullshit, and I feel like we are 1-0 right now. I feel like it's a brand new season, and if you're feeling like me, I want you to spam FJM. F Josh McDaniels one last time. If you sound like me, hit that subscribe button. I have no voice this morning. I have nothing, but I woke up, I felt ready, I feel as happy as can be, and I am excited to see what continually is going to end up going down here with the nation. Now, as always, you guys can always follow me on IG. I'm on Twitter as well, at Mitchell Renz 365, where I was screaming my head off after the Raiders just won baby yesterday, and that's sometimes what you're going to get. The next story coming up here on the show, Antonio Pierce for head coach. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking about for next season, 2024. And you know what? My answer, I'm going to give you it after I tell you a little bit about our sponsor, but I'm just going to be real with y'all. Waterboy is saving my ass today, and they could probably save yours as well. Essentially what it is if you have a crazy night like you were watching the Raiders Report and you were rocking with me drink for drink, I want you to go to waterboy.com/chatsports because you need to get hydrated. Waterboy is a hydration powder scientifically formulated to cut your hangover time in half. I feel like they cut it in 4 just win babies, man. There are other hydration packs on the market, but nothing comes anywhere close to fighting those Sunday scaries like Waterboy, hell, those Monday scaries. With 0 sugar and over 3 times the electrolytes of Liquid IV, your hangover will stand no chance, unlike their competitors. Waterboy has added ingredients beyond just hydration to help with nausea, anxiety, and fatigue we all know that hydration alone isn't enough to help after that bender that we had last night, especially after the McDaniels one as well. And for a limited time, our listeners are going to get 50% off your entire order at waterboy.com/chatsports. Wake up Friday, Monday, anytime you watch the Raiders Report after a watch party. I know, it's never easy. And I'm just going to be very transparent here. I need a little bit of Waterboy in my life. And as soon as I walked into the studio today, give a major shout out to Coop because Chugs has got an appointment this morning because he's still trying to look like the Black Eyed Peas. But Coop pulled up to the scene today, produced this video, and him and I both are sipping on a little bit of Waterboy. So if you feel like me, hey, I hear you. Get some Waterboy to get rid of that hangover. Oh, yeah, let's go to the next one here. Antonio Pierce for head coach. Give me 2 just win babies, and people are talking. The reason why that people need to start talking about this is because if you're the Raiders, you can't have what happened in 2022 all over again. Rich Bisaccia took over a team. They go 7-5, and I get it. Bisaccia might not have known the X's and O's like McDaniels. I still am starting to wonder what McDaniels did all day, every day, because for how prepared McDaniels' teams were compared to how prepared Antonio Pierce's teams were, I mean, it's just night and day. But the reason why you got to at least have this conversation is because Bisaccia went 7-5, took a team to the playoffs. Sure, they lost in the playoffs, but you were still able to get there because that team rallied behind Bisaccia. If you have another situation here and everybody that I talk to is indicating that the Raiders are going to go more towards a player-centric head coach, if Pierce can bring this team from the grave and if they can make a legitimate run, the number that I said was when Pierce took over, 9 games left. If you can go 6-3 and give this team a little bit of hope and march and give yourself a shot in the playoffs, I think you're crazy for not considering Antonio Pierce. And let me say this. If the Raiders decide to go with Antonio Pierce next year as your head coach, that means that they probably had a hell of a season this year. And then that also means that you probably made one hell of a run. But this team right now is playing for Pierce. I would run through a brick wall for that guy. He's a Raider. When you get a interim head coach screaming Raiders in the locker room, screaming Raiders after a press game, I'm telling you right now, Antonio Pierce is the coach that Raider Nation has needed for a long time. And the way that Mark Davis has kind of run this ship, Pierce was the 12th head coach, interim and regular head coach in the last 20 years. Maybe this is your answer to do something a little bit different. So my question to you is this. How many games do the Raiders need to win to keep Pierce as head coach? We are currently sitting at 4-5 right now. But to me, there was 9 games. I'm looking at a 9-game sample size. Sure, a lot of that might have to deal with Aidan O'Connell, but I need to know from everybody right now, how many games do the Raiders need to win to keep Pierce as a head coach? To me, you got to win 6 out of your last 9. Now, you got to win 5 out of your last 8. Let's go to the final story here on the show. I saw this one on social media late last night, and I laughed a little bit because people were like, Raiders are making the playoffs, baby, which is why I love the NFL. It's why I love the nation. It's why I love football. It's why I love sports, because think about the way you felt after Monday Night Football. Literally 6 days ago. Like 6 days ago, you were ready to burn down Allegiant Stadium because of Mark Davis. Now, it was packed, which you got to love to see. It's going to be packed next week, Sunday Night Football, which I'm going to be out in Vegas, so make sure you guys hit me up. I want to grab a drink with my dad. But are the Raiders making the playoffs? I'll tell you my answer here, but I want you to hit that subscribe button if you're happy that the Raiders moved on from Josh McDaniels. I want you to hit that subscribe button if you're happy that Antonio Pierce rallied the troops. I want you to hit that subscribe button because watching those players celebrate in that locker room the way they did yesterday, I know a lot of times you look at a player and you think, oh, he's an NFL player. He's making millions of dollars. What does he have to worry about? Go look at all the videos. Go look at all the pictures. Those guys are happy. And if you were as happy as what those players were after that win yesterday, hit that subscribe button right now. If your voice sounds like this because you were screaming from your rooftop, your garage, at Allegiant Stadium, Raiders, hit that subscribe button. We're the channel for you. In terms of are the Raiders going to be making the playoffs, I got to give this one to Just Win Babies, which blows my mind if I'm being honest with you. Like, I can't even believe I'm saying this out loud. But realistically, when you look at the remainder schedule for the Raiders, it's not that crazy. And again, I'm going to go back and say that the Raiders might have had one of the easiest stretches of a schedule due to all the injuries that have popped up. So you got the New York Jets on Sunday Night Football. That's a beatable team. The Jets play tonight against the Los Angeles Chargers, so they're going to have a short week. The Miami Dolphins, that's not an easy game. The Chiefs, never an easy game. Then you have a bye week. Okay? So right now, let's say 5-7. The Minnesota Vikings, they got backup quarterback in right now, Josh Dobbs. I think that's a winnable game. Against the Chargers on Thursday Night Football. I'm going to be real with you. I expect to win that game. So let's say you're 7-7. Chiefs, Monday Night Football, Christmas, technically 1 o'clock game. I think Mahomes might put some coal in your stocking. All right, so let's say you're 7-8. You could beat Indianapolis. You can beat the Denver Broncos. You got a shot. And if you don't think that this team has a shot, hell, they might even run into a win that they're not supposed to. Why? Because the NFL can be crazy at times. So I know it's not likely that the Raiders are going to make the playoffs. But if you think that it's a 0% chance, you need to wake up because this team's playing football, and they're playing inspired football. The remaining schedule on the Raiders Report for this week in terms of live shows, I'm going to be live later on today. So, again, subscribe. Join Jeremy Chuggs and I, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. I'm going to be live again on Tuesday, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. And then I'm going to be live on Thursday for a little Bears-Panthers action. Getting ready to get my weekend started because I think after this game, I'm going to try to catch a flight out to Vegas and just keep the party rolling. And then Sunday Night Football, Raiders, Jets. I can't wait for this one. Hopefully y'all are rocking at Allegiant Stadium. This is a big game for me. My dad, he's a Jets fan, so we kind of have to rub it in his face here a little bit. Giggity. But appreciate everyone that tuned into the Raiders Report late last night. Had over 140,000 people who were tuning in and just was rocking. The atmosphere was amazing here on this show at Allegiant Stadium. And if you get a chance today, for all the diehard fans out there that stuck through all the bullshit with Josh McDaniels, I want you to pat yourself on the back. I want you to put on your Raiders stuff today, wear it with pride, and remember, better days are ahead.